Well, that was a terrific rendition of the national anthem. We're just a couple minutes away from first pitch at Regency Furniture Stadium, where the Blue Crabs will send Eddie Butler to the mound as Southern Maryland looks for their third consecutive win in game one of this doubleheader. The weather doesn't get much better for baseball than this. A few clouds across the sky. Temperatures are in the low 80s today for first pitch, and they're going to decrease into the upper 70s throughout the evening. As of right now, there's no rain in the forecast for game time. It should be coming late into the night, into tomorrow morning, but hopefully the rain will hold off through the evening. It's Eddie Butler who makes his 10th appearance of the season tonight for Southern Maryland in game one. The Blue Crabs will turn to Alex Marathieu for game two. In his last start, it was past midnight. The game actually began technically at 11:45 p.m., but the game did not end until 2 a.m. He went all 7 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned. He walked 2. He's not someone who's going to give up a lot of walks. It's consistency in the strike zone for Eddie Butler. The ERA, though, has been a little bit tough for the right-hander with 5 years of Major League Baseball experience. He started the season well in his first 2 starts, but in the month of May especially, that's when he really struggled to put up a 6.30 ERA. In the month of June, his ERA at just 3. And overall this year, he is 4-1 with a 5.04 ERA and a 1.40 whip. Well, let's get started here in Southern Maryland. It's Antoine Duplantis who will lead things off, and we'll run you through the Staten Island order and the Blue Crabs defensive alignment in just a couple of moments. Antoine Duplantis, the lone player for Staten Island who wears that orange batting helmet. First pitch, called strike, just above the knees, and the count, no balls and 1 strike on the left-handed hitter Duplantis. Had a chance to speak with Antoine Duplantis before the game today about our time in Harwich in the Cape Cod Baseball League as the 0-1 pitch is low, count 1 ball and 1 strike. He was with the Harwich Mariners for 2016 and 17. I was there in 2017 and 2018 as the 1-1 pitch is low and in. Cape Cod League is the top collegiate baseball league where you'll see a lot of players from Power 5 schools go after the collegiate season is over. 2-1 pitch, that's low and in, count 3 balls and 1 strike as Eddie Butler has missed the zone early on. Well, Antoine Duplantis will be followed by Javier Betancourt. Angel Aguilar bats third. 3-1 pitch, called strike at the knees, count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Dilson Herrera is the cleanup hitter. Stephen Alamais bats 5th. Mario Bautista bats 6th. John Nestor in the 7th spot. Alfredo Reyes 8th. And Joseph Monje bats 9th. 3-2 pitch, a little bit inside. It's ball 4, and Antoine Duplantis leads things off for the FerryHawks with a walk. And that brings up Javier Betancourt. Let's bring you around the Blue Crabs defensive alignment. It's Jack Sundberg in left field, Zach Collier in center, Braxton Lee in right. From third to first, Alex Crosby at third, Michael Baca at short. Raul Shaw gets a start at second base today, Jared Walker at first base, and it's Joe DeLuca doing the catching for Eddie Butler. First pitch from Butler, called strike, right down Darrell Thompson drive against Javier Betancourt. For those of you who don't remember, the Blue Crabs named a road after Darrell Thompson. It's called Darrell Thompson Drive. And because of his great control, instead of saying right down Main Street, right down Broadway, we go with right down Darrell Thompson Drive. It was right down the middle of the plate. 0-1 pitch. Line drive, foul, first base side, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes now on the righty Javier Betancourt. Betancourt will be followed by Angel Aguilar. The Blue Crabs come into this one with an 11.5 game lead in the North Division over the Long Island Ducks. Staten Island was officially eliminated yesterday. They're 20.5 games back of the Blue Crabs. 0-2 pitch, just off the outside edge, count 1-2. Runner on first base, nobody out. Top of the first inning, the FerryHawks and Blue Crabs are scoreless. Couple of half swings from Javier Betancourt as he digs back in. 1-2, line drive back to the netting, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. The FerryHawks in their light blue uniforms, very similar to the Blue Crabs uniforms yesterday. With the orange piping, they have their gray pants on. The Blue Crabs with the cream pants, the black jerseys, and the red lettering. It's their Maryland jerseys. Butler, the 1-2 once more is low. Throw down to second as the runner goes. Not quite in time. Duplantis got a good jump and slid in there safely, significantly ahead of Raul Shah's tag. It was a pretty good throw, all things considered, from Joe DeLuca. But now a runner on second base with nobody out. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes as Eddie Butler having to work here. Staten Island scored first back in the top of the first inning yesterday, but ultimately lost 8-3. The Blue Crabs came up with a 6-run sixth to win yesterday's ball game. Here is the 2-2 pitch now. Line drive, one hopper to second, nicely sliding over Shah. He tosses to first. It's in time. Duplantis forced to stay at second base. And there is one out and a runner on second now, after Javier Betancourt with a sharp one hopper over to second. Brings up Angel Aguilar. It was a very hard hit one hopper. I'm surprised Duplantis didn't at least try for third. It would have been a dangerous play for Raul Shah to try to throw to third base on that ball. And I don't think there was any chance that that ball was going to be caught on the fly. But either way, Duplantis stays at second base. No way to score a run with an out without either a stolen base, a wild pitch, pass ball. First pitch to Aguilar. Tap foul, third base side. They're going to need a base hit to drive in Antoine Duplantis. I always talk about whether or not there's a chance to trade a run with an out, because it's a luxury to have, especially in low scoring or close games. And yesterday's game was razor thin margins up until the 6th. It was a 3-2 ball game. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, big wave and a miss, count 0-2. Well, there's no question that Eddie Butler can bring the velocity. Can throw 95, even 96 as a starter. Aguilar steps back in. He bats third in the order for the FerryHawks. 0-2 pitch, that's low. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes now on the righty. Top of the first inning, no score from the Reg in Waldorf. Runner on second base with 1 out. Butler, the 1-2 pitch. High pop-up foul overhead behind home plate. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. First of 2 today, as the Blue Crabs take on the FerryHawks in Game 1 here with a 5 o'clock start time. Game 2 will be 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. Butler set. Here's the pitch. That's low. Now the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. He went with the off-speed pitch. So still a runner on second with 1 away. Butler, it's a sign from Joe DeLuca. DeLuca setting up a little bit low. Here's the pitch. That's called strike 3. That's strike 3. The umpire had lost track of what the count was, and there are now 2 outs. He just did a regular called strike and then had to be reminded, oh, that's strike 3. As the home plate umpire tonight, Jerry Burrish, Mike Mackey at third, and Jim Clayton over at first. Runner on second base with 2 outs. Here's the first pitch from Butler. A little bit low and away. And the count 1 ball and no strikes on Dilson Herrera. 2 away in the top of the first inning. Duplantis got things started with a leadoff walk. Javier Betancourt grounded to second, and Angel Aguilar went down looking. 1-0 pitch. High fly ball. Right field side. Foul. Floats into the seats. And the count, 1-1 strike now. With 2 away in the top of the first inning. Eddie Butler, 5 years of Major League Baseball experience. We have a pair of trivia questions for everybody tonight. 1-1 pitch. Low one in, it bounces away from Joe DeLuca. It's a wild pitch. It allows Duplantis to reach third base. But again, it's the same thing we mentioned earlier, though. He's at third base with 2 outs. Not an opportunity for Staten Island to drive him in with the fielder's choice or a sacrifice fly. But the go-ahead run is 90 feet away here in the top of the first inning. No score from the Reagan Waldorf. Michael Baca on the shallow outfield grass and left. 2-1 pitch, line drive, right to the right fielder Braxton Lee, who makes the catch chest high with 2 hands for the final out. We finish the top of the first inning. The FerryHawks are kept off the scoreboard. They strand 1. When we come back, it's the Blue Crabs coming to bat in the bottom of the first.
This is Andrew Riceno, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the switch. I like to scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
We go to the bottom half of the first inning. The Blue Crabs send the top of the order to the plate. It's Jack Sundberg who will get things started for Southern Maryland. After the FerryHawks were kept off the scoreboard. First pitch from Hector Guantz, making his first professional baseball appearance since 2019, is away for ball 1. We'll run you through the Blue Crabs order momentarily, along with the defensive alignment for the FerryHawks, as the 1-0 pitch from Guantz is a called strike. The count, 1-1 strike. Antoine Duplantis back in the first inning reached as far as third base, but was kept stranded. 1-1 offering, way outside in the count, 2-1 strikes. One of the things you always worry about with someone who hasn't played a game in a long time is the control. And when you haven't played in 3 years, it's that much more important. 2-1 pitch, line drive, shallow center field, long run for Duplantis. It's going to bounce in front of him to flex off of his leg. Sundberg digging for 2, and he's in standing up. A single and an error by Duplantis, and Jack Sundberg on second base to get things started for the Blue Crabs. So the Blue Crabs with the leadoff man on, not only the leadoff man on, but the leadoff man in scoring position for Raul Shah, who steps in. Shah hasn't played a full game in more than a week since the last doubleheader the Blue Crabs played. And Raul Shah was someone who was a staple in the lineup for a few weeks when he was hitting the ball very well. His batting average has since fallen. He was hitting at over 360 at a point this season. He's now at 253. Runner on second base, no outs. First pitch popped up foul behind home plate in a scoreless ball game in the bottom of the first. Blue Crabs starting lineup today. It's Jack Sundberg behind the Jack Sundberg to lead things off, I should say. Raul Shah bats second. Jared Walker in the 3 spot. David Harris is the cleanup hitter. Alex Crosby after him. Batting 6th, it is Zach Collier. Braxton Lee bats 7th. The 8 hitter is Joe DeLuca. He's doing the catching. And Michael Baca closes things out, batting 9th. 0-1 pitch. Fouled off. First base side. Count, no balls and 2 strikes. Scoreless ball game in the bottom of the first inning. If you'd like a shout out, please write your name and where you're watching from in the YouTube chat. As the count, no balls and 2 strikes now on Raul Shah. Defensive alignment now for the Staten Island FerryHawks. It's Joseph Monhay in left, Antoine Duplantis in center, Mario Bautista in right, Angel Aguilar at third base. At shortstop, it's Alfredo Reyes. At second base, Steven Alameus. And over at first, Dilson Herrera. John Nestor is doing the catching for Hector Guantz. The 0-2 pitch low in the dirt. It gets a little bit away from Nestor. Throw down to third base, not in time, as Jack Sundberg took off when the ball was in the dirt. And now there's a runner on third base with nobody out. The count, 1 ball and 2 strikes now on the righty, as Raul Shah is looking to drive in the first run of this ball game. Stan Clyburn walks slowly out to the ball to pick it up, as that ball in the dirt was laying over by the dugout. 1-2 pitch, called strike 3. Breaking ball kept Shah off balance, and there's 1 away. Hector Guantz changes speeds in a big way. He was going 95, 96, and lays in a 80-mile-an-hour curveball for strike 3. Well, there is 1 away now in the bottom of the first inning. Blue Crabs and Staten Island are scoreless, as Jared Walker went 0 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. Had a terrific series against West Virginia, as the first pitch is a fastball called strike. Went 5 for 9, home run, 3 RBIs, 4 walks in that series. 0 for 4 with a run scored and a walk in yesterday's ball game. Against Staten Island, it's been a tough go for Jared Walker. He's 0 for 11. He has scored 2 runs against this team, though. 0-1 pitch. Line drive, first base side, it's a fair ball, and extra bases, it's going to go into the corner. Walker rounds first, he trots into second. Meanwhile, it's Jack Sundberg who scores from third. An RBI single on a rocket down the first baseline, and the Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. I just mentioned it moments ago, Jared Walker hadn't had a hit against Staten Island yet this year. He picks up his first one in the bottom of the first inning and gives the Blue Crabs a 1-0 lead. Blue Crabs not done with the inning yet either, as there's only 1 away. And a runner on second base. It's David Harris who comes to the plate. In yesterday's ball game, David Harris was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored, a walk. First pitch called strike, breaking ball on the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Hector Guantz has not had trouble with control thus far. That's always one of the worries when you bring someone in who hasn't played a professional baseball game in 3 years. But it's been the hits that have gotten to him. This one, swinging a ground ball toward the middle. Long run for Alfonso Reyes, who fields, turns, and throws the first in time to get David Harris, who does not run particularly well. And there are 2 outs. Harris has got a big bat, but speed has been something that he's had success with earlier in his career, but not as much recently. Runner on third base, 2 outs for the Blue Crabs, as Alex Crosby comes to the plate. Terrific play by Alfonso Reyes, though, to get there. Hector Guantz back on the mound. First pitch up and away for ball one. And the count 1 ball and no strikes on the 5-hitter. Alex Crosby, who's had an outstanding season, had a great year last year, hit .318 last season. This year he's hitting .322. Home run number is a little bit down, but the RBI numbers are right there. First pitch is, or the 1-0 pitch I should say, is away. Count 2 balls and no strikes. He has 37 RBIs so far in just 47 games. Hit .322 overall and is currently in the midst of a 4-game hit streak. Pitch, fastball at the knees, count 2 balls and 1 strike. Runner on third base. The Blue Crabs have struck first on an RBI double down the right field line from Jared Walker, who leads off of third base. Guantz the pitch. That's up and away. Count 3 balls and 1 strike. Staten Island FerryHawks off to a very tough season thus far. They come in with a 14-32 record. They're playing better baseball more recently. 4 wins in their last 7 contests, but lost last night 8-3. Pitch to Crosby, swinging a high fly ball, right field. The right fielder Bautista takes a few steps in, and a routine catch chest high for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs strand 1 on third, but they score 1 at the end of 1. It is the Blue Crabs 1 and the FerryHawks 0. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the second inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today.
First pitch to Alamance is low and away for ball 1 from Eddie Butler. The Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead in the top of the second inning. The 1-0 pitch, high pop up in the infield. It is the second baseman Raul Shah who calls everyone off and makes the catch overhead for the first out. Well, there is 1 away now in the top of the second inning. Comes Mario Bautista to the plate. Bautista followed by John Nestor. In the top of the second inning, the Blue Crabs scored a run in the bottom of the first and took the lead 1-0. Butler the pitch. That's a called strike on the outside corner, and the count no balls and 1 strike now. On the righty, Mario Bautista with 1 away in the top of the 2nd inning. 0-1 from Butler's up and away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike now on the righty. Eddie Butler had one of his better performances of the year last time out, but I'm not quite sure it's a totally fair sample as the 1-1 pitch hit high in the air, center field, straight away. It's Collier who blocks out the sun with his glove, is under it in right center, and makes the catch for the 2nd out. Quickly 2 up and 2 down from Eddie Butler in the top of the 2nd inning. Now Butler, last time out, pitched in game 2 of a doubleheader. The Blue Crabs squared off with Long Island in that series, and they had lost game 1 of the doubleheader. It came back and won game 2. Here's the pitch. First pitch called strike on the outside corner against John Nestor. Nestor had a pair of strikeouts in yesterday's ball game, 0 for 3, the catcher, hitting 163 on the season. 0-1 offering. Big wave and a miss. A little bit low and out of the zone, but he swings through it, and the count no balls and 2 strikes now. On the righty, Nestor. Butler throwing 93 right now. He's topped out, though, this year at over 96, so he definitely does have higher velo. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Blue Crabs ahead by 1 here in the top of the 2nd. 2 outs. As that ball rolled back over toward the Vat Boy. Some of those balls get reused if they're in good condition. Otherwise, they move on. Base path's empty with 2 away. Here's the 1-2 offering. This one, a high chopper toward the middle, fielded by Baca on the forehand. He throws across the diamond, and it's in time for the final out as Eddie Butler records a 1-2-3 top of the 2nd inning. The Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead over the FerryHawks. Stick with us.
When you need a win on the road, don't get left stranded. Make AAA part of your roster and you'll always have someone on deck ready to get you home. AAA also offers car care, insurance, and travel services, and has stores conveniently located for Blue Crabs fans in Brandywine, Crofton, and Alexandria. Don't forget to ask them about membership discounts for military and first responders. Please visit AAA.com to learn more or to find a AAA location near you.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. The Blue Crabs have a 1-0 lead under sunny skies on a Wednesday afternoon. The 2nd of 4 games in a 3-day stretch. The Blue Crabs play a doubleheader tonight, the first of 2 between Southern Maryland and Staten Island. First pitch for Hector Guantz is in there for a called strike just above thigh level, and the count 1 ball and no balls and one strike on Zach Collier. Blue Crabs scored their lone run of the game back in the first inning. This one, high pop up toward left center field. It is the left fielder in this ball game, Joseph Monhay, who drifts in and over toward left center field where he makes the catch for the first out. One away, it brings up Braxton Lee, whose batting average continues to climb up to 291 on the season. Braxton Lee was in the leadoff spot in yesterday's ball game. First pitch to Braxton Lee, low and in the dirt, count 1 ball and no strikes. Braxton Lee was 2 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. He continues to hit the ball better recently. He went through a slow stretch in that last series, last road trip, but he was 2 for 4 in the last game, and he was 2 for 4 in the last game of the road trip, and 2 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. Well, the 1-0 pitch is low and in. Count 2 balls and no strikes to the lefty. Braxton Lee's batting stance, both feet very close together, and no bend in the knees. Pitch, that one is lined foul, third base side. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Seem to be a lot of moving parts there with the legs basically straight up. Then he bends them at the last second. He steps into the pitch. Hitting 291 this year, hit 229 in AAA last year. 2-1 pitch. Called strike. And I count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on the left-handed hitter. Blue Crabs 1, FerryHawks nothing. It was a leadoff single from Sundberg. He reached third on a stolen base and a wild pitch as the 2-1 pitch is low and in, or 2-2 pitch I should say. Now they count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jared Walker ripped a double down the first baseline, gave the Blue Crabs a 1-0 lead. Pitch swinging a tapper foul, first base side. The count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bottom of the second inning. From the Reg in Waldorf, Regency Furniture Stadium, the Blue Crabs lead the FerryHawks 1-0. Hector Guantz has thrown 25 pitches through an inning and a third. Guantz from the windup, 3-2 pitch. Ground ball over towards second base, a roller picked up by Alamais, and the throw to first is in time. 2 up and 2 down from Hector Guantz to get things going in the bottom of the second inning as Joe DeLuca comes to the plate for the Blue Crabs. Joe DeLuca hitting .304. He was 1 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 5 in the last game of that road trip. But in game 1 of that road trip, he was 4 for 4. Joe DeLuca kicks around some dirt. Bends his knees a little bit. First pitch to DeLuca. High fly ball, left field, toward the line. It's Joseph Monhay who drifts over and makes the catch for the final out. Southern Maryland retired in order. A fly out, a ground out, another fly out. And Hector Guantz was retired 5 consecutive Blue Crabs. Southern Maryland has a 1-0 lead, though, as we're finished with 2 innings of play from Regency Furniture Stadium.
This is Coach Doug's, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
American Radiology is the clear choice for all of your medical imaging needs. With locations in Charles and Calvert counties, they offer a full range of imaging services. Some of their latest innovations included 3D mammography and wide-open MRIs for our claustrophobic patients. For your convenience, they even offer extended weekday hours and Saturdays. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at AmericanRadiology.com.
we go to the top of the third inning. First pitch is a called strike on the leadoff hitter in the top of the third inning for the Staten Island FerryHawks. That's Alfredo Reyes, as 8, 9, and 1 will come to the plate for Staten Island. First pitch, ground ball over towards second base, fielded on the backhand by Shaw. He'll toss to first, and there's one away. Base paths empty, as Eddie Butler has retired 7 consecutive FerryHawks. Allowed a leadoff walk to Antoine Duplantis, but has settled down both in his control and in his ability to record outs. Just one strikeout. It was a strikeout looking to Angel Aguilar, but he's managed to send down Staten Island batters so far. First pitch called strike on the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Last time out, Eddie Butler went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, a complete game in game 2 of a doubleheader. 0-1, ground ball through the left side past the diving reach of Alex Crosby. And there is one on with 1 out. He nearly made that play as he was diving toward the second base side, but under his glove, maybe under his arm really, as there's a runner on first base with 1 out. It brings up Antoine Duplantis, who initially reached on a walk, was stranded at third base back in the top of the first inning. Antoine Duplantis most recently played in Double-A with the New York Mets. First pitch way upstairs, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Duplantis did struggle a little bit with the Mets and their system this year, after being one of the best players in LSU baseball history. Count 1 ball and no strikes on Duplantis. Here's the pitch. Line drive towards center field. It's a base hit. Collier comes in to meet the ball and tosses into the shortstop, Baca. Meanwhile, it's Monhay who goes first to third. There are runners on the corners with 1 out. That's Antoine Duplantis on first base now. Oh, he played with Binghamton earlier this season and last season. Last year he hit 200 with Binghamton. He hit 253 in high A. This year, hit just 132 in Binghamton. After 91 at-bats and most recently released from the Mets system, he hit outstanding 324 across all 4 years in college. Pitch to Betancourt, high pop-up, right center field. It's Braxton Lee who moves over, makes the catch. The throw to the plate is offline, and there's a run that comes in and scores from third. It's Joseph Monhay. We've seen some terrific throws from Braxton Lee throughout the season. That one a little bit offline. He tried to test it. It was going to be an incredibly tough play. And safe at home plate, Joseph Monhay. Runner on second base with 2 outs. The FerryHawks have tied the score on a sacrifice fly. A 1-1 ball game. If you'd like a shout out in today's game, please write it in the YouTube chat, and we'll definitely get to that. Your location and your name, and we will make sure to give you a shout out on air. First pitch, a little bit low and away. Count 1 ball and no strikes. And we'll have our trivia question in the top of the 4th. Do not miss it. This is actually a fan entry trivia question. 1-0 pitch. Swinging a ground ball, back up the middle, a base hit. Collier comes in and meets it, but Duplantis rounds third. There's not going to be a throw. An RBI single from Angel Aguilar. And the FerryHawks have taken a 2-1 lead. Well, all of a sudden, a single from Joseph Monhay, a single from Antoine Duplantis. A sacrifice fly from Javier Betancourt. And a base hit from Angel Aguilar. Drives in Duplantis. Well, still 1 on and 2 outs in the top of the third. 2-1 FerryHawks. After things were going really well for Eddie Butler, things have fallen apart a little bit in the top of the third. First pitch, foul back to the netting, and the count 0-1 on Dilson Herrera, who's had a really tough year so far in the Atlantic League, batting .087. Butler gets a sign from his catcher, DeLuca. 0-1 offering, line drive, right field, coming in. It's Braxton Lee who makes the catch just to the side with his glove on the left side, and that will end the top of the third inning, but not before the FerryHawks score 2 at the end of 2.5. It's Staten Island with a 2-1 lead over the Blue Crabs. Stick with us.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
First pitch to the leadoff hitter in the inning, Michael Baca, is low and away for ball one. Bottom of the third inning, the Blue Crabs trail 2-1. First pitch, or the 1-0 pitch, I should say, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Michael Baca as that pitch clipped the inside corner. Bottom of the third inning, the Blue Crabs scored 1 in the bottom of the first. The FerryHawks respond with 2 in the top of the second. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball. Right down Daryl Thompson drive from Hector Guantz. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 offering. Chopper over toward third. Fielded on the forehand by the third baseman. Reyes, the throw to first is in time. And there is 1 away. 1 away in the bottom of the third inning. The Blue Crabs are trailing 2-1. As Jack Sundberg will come to the plate. Sundberg singled back in the first inning, took a bad hop on Duplantis, deflected off of his leg, and he reached second. And now bunting down the third base side, but it goes foul, and Angel Aguilar wound up and then sort of fake kicked it. And Ray Ortega tosses over to a fan in the front row who makes the catch with a baseball glove. At what point do you no longer bring the baseball glove to the ball game? Is there an age cutoff there? Let me know in the YouTube chat if there's an age cutout for how old you can be when you bring your glove to the ball game. 0-1 pitch is low to Jack Sundberg, count 1-1. That boy was maybe only 10 to 12 years old, so I think that he's well within the age range. But at some point there's a cutoff because you can't be 45 and bring a glove to the game, or can you? 1-1 pitch, fouled back behind home plate, and count 1 ball and 2 strikes. We'll have to hear from our cameraman, Wes, as to what the age cutoff is for bringing your glove to a ball game. Here's the pitch. Line drive, left center field, rather deep, sends Monhay back in front of the warning track where he makes the catch for the second out. Ball carried right in front of the Blackstone management sign in left center field, where it was tracked down by Joseph Monhay, the left fielder today. It's Raul Shah who will step in for the second time today. Shah went down swinging. That was back in the first inning. Pitch called strike on a breaking ball from Hector Guantz. Blue Crabs trailing 2-1 in the bottom of the third inning. 0-1. Line drive foul, first base side. Count 0-2 now on Shaw. And Jared Walker, 1 for 1 today, RBI double. Drove in the lone run for the Blue Crabs. As the pitch to Shaw, swing and a miss, strike 3. He goes down on strikes for the second time today, 0 for 2. As that finishes the bottom of the third inning, the FerryHawks have a 2-1 lead over the Blue Crabs. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson and the whole team, trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289.
Well, we move to the top of the fourth inning in game 1 of a doubleheader between the Blue Crabs and the FerryHawks. 2-1 FerryHawks in the top of the fourth inning. First pitch from Eddie Butler to Steven Alamice is grounded over towards shortstop, fielded by Michael Baca. Casual toss to first is in time for the first out. One pitch and one out from Eddie Butler here in the fourth inning. It's Mario Bautista who will come to the plate, followed by John Nestor. Bautista flied to center field his first time up. Eddie Butler has now gone 3 1/3 inning, allowed 2 runs. As the pitch upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes on the right-handed hitter. Base paths are empty with 1 out. Count 1 ball and no strikes on the righty. The 0-1 foul back, or 1-0 I should say, foul back. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Now I will say on Eddie Butler, it was a tough third inning after he had pitched very well over the first 2 innings. Across the first 2 innings, at one point he'd retired 7 consecutive batters. Big wave and a miss. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball sizzles by him at 93. Base paths are empty with 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, and now things get late in the ball game very quickly. 1-2, big swing and a miss. This time goes with the slider a little bit lower and out of the zone, and Mario Bautista swings through it. It's just the 2nd strikeout of the day for Butler through 3 2/3. And there are 2 away now in the top of the 4th inning. Brings up John Nestor. Nestor 0 for 1. He grounded out to shortstop his first time up. First pitch to Nestor. A little bit upstairs. Count 1 ball and no strikes. We have our trivia question today. The pitch, that's a little bit upstairs. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. Our trivia question today comes courtesy of a specific fan. We're going to recognize the fan with the answer today. That's going to be in the top of the 6th. 2-0 pitch, called strike. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. Who was the first Mets player to start the season in Class A and get called up to the majors the same year? The big hint, he's playing in today's ball game. A 2-1 pitch, chopper foul, third base side, count 2-2. Again, first Mets player to start the season in Class A and get called up to the majors in the same year. Well, there are only 5 players in this ball game who have major league experience, so there are not all that many options to choose from. 2-2 pitch from Butler. That's low in the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. That's our trivia question today. If you happen to know the answer, write it in the YouTube chat. We'll recognize the special fan who gave us our trivia question today later on, as the 3-2 pitch is low, and that is ball 4. Our very own Dave Martin suggested another trivia question. We'll have to see if we can get to that one today or maybe another time. Runner on first base and 2 outs. We still have game 2 to get to after this. Eddie Butler has thrown 53 pitches through 3 2/3 innings. You'd have to think that if he continues to pitch well, he's got a shot at going all 7. First pitch, called strike, count 0-1 now on the 8-hitter Alfredo Reyes. Count no balls and 1 strike now on the righty. A 2-1 lead for the FerryHawks. The pitch, that runs inside. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. And we've really seen the 4-seam fastball range and velocity from 90-91 to 94.5. The pitch, line drive into center field for a base hit. John Nestor goes first to second. There are runners on first and second base with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning. And the worry here is that Eddie Butler running into trouble here in the top of the 4th inning. He started innings well so far this game. In the 1st inning, allowed just 1 base runner before retiring the side. But in the 3rd inning, that's when things got a little bit difficult for him. He recorded the first out, and then the next 2 batters reached. 3 of the next 4 batters reached as well. Recorded the first 2 outs in this inning, and then things have started to unravel a little bit. First pitch, foul back behind home plate off the bat of Joseph Monhay. Count no balls and 1 strike on the righty Monhay. It's Nestor from second. It's Reyes from first. The 2-1 lead for the FerryHawks in the top of the 4th. Butler set. Here's the 0-1. High fly ball, right center field. It's Braxton Lee who takes a couple steps over, now 2 steps back, and makes the catch for the final out. The FerryHawks with 1 hit, 1 walk. They strand 2 at the end of 3.5. It's the Blue Crabs who trail the FerryHawks 2-1. Stick with us in the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Coach Doug's, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the fourth inning from the Reg in Waldorf, a 2-1 lead for the FerryHawks over Southern Maryland. As Jared Walker comes to the plate, taps home plate a few times. Walker followed by Harris and Crosby, 3, 4, and 5 in the order. First pitch from Hector Guance, way outside. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. Time to get to a few of our shout-outs today. After this pitch to Jared Walker, Hector Guance the offering. That's low and in. Bounce before the plate on Walker. Dennis Moore says, of course, Possum Point Lodge in Jena, Louisiana. He says, who is causing trouble today in here? Well, Multi-Apples responded, close game. And we have more from Dennis Moore. As the pitch, that comes inside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Dennis Moore has a story about Possum Point Lodge. He says the shape of the community was laid out on a map, and an old lady said it looked like a possum. Now the 3-0 pitch, that's away. Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk issued to Jared Walker to get things started in the top of the 4th inning. Runner on first and nobody out. We got to finish that story from Dennis Moore, though. So he asked, why not an opossum or a possum, no matter how you want to pronounce that word. And he said that they couldn't read or write, so no one knew, so they just called it regular possum. First pitch is inside, count 1 ball and no strikes. It is a 2-1 lead for the FerryHawks over the Blue Crabs. Either way, I appreciate the story, Dennis. I always love hearing from Possum Point Lodge. Dennis Moore, a good friend of manager Stan Clyburn. 1-0 pitches inside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. 2-1 Staten Island. Bottom of the 4th inning. Runner on first base and nobody out. The first 6 pitches of the inning have been balls from Hector Guance. Guantz gets a sign from his catcher, Nestor. Here's the 2-0. That's popped up in the infield. It's the first baseman, Herrera, who drifts back behind the line and makes the catch for the first out. Still one on with one out as Alex Crosby comes to the plate. He'll be followed by Zach Collier. Blue Crabs had to find a way to manufacture a run as they trail by one in the bottom of the fourth inning. And normally bottom of the fourth, you say no big deal, you got a lot of time. There's not nearly as much time in this one, as it's a 7-inning game in game one of a doubleheader. Guantz the pitch. That's away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes now. With one out on Alex Crosby, who bats from the left side. Guantz, a right-handed pitcher. Got a lot of velocity to that fastball. Has thrown 97 miles per hour today. Alex Crosby 0 for 1. He flied out to right. Lazy fly ball his first time up. This one swinging a high fly ball, left field line, down the line. It's tailing toward the corner. It's foul. Not a lot of foul territory down that left field line, but Crosby found it. Runner on first base with one out for the Blue Crabs as they trail 2-1. 1 run for the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the first. The FerryHawks scored 2 in the top of the third inning. Blue Crabs scored their run on an RBI double from Jared Walker. A sacrifice fly from Betancourt and an RBI single from Angel Aguilar gave the FerryHawks the 2-1 lead. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the fourth inning. FerryHawks have a 2-1 lead over the Blue Crabs. 1-1 pitch from Guantz, swinging a line drive, shallow center field. It's going to bounce in front of Duplantis. Jared Walker from first to second, and there are runners on first and second with nobody out. With one out, I should say. I beg your pardon. But it is another single from Crosby. That extends his hit streak, as Crosby now has hits in 5 consecutive games. We'll run you through a few hit streaks for the Blue Crabs that are active. Braxton Lee has a 7-game hit streak. He's 0 for 1 in today's contest. 9-game hit streak for Michael Wolanski, but he's on the bench today for game 1. I'm sure he'll play in game 2 with an opportunity to extend that hit streak. The pitch, that's up and away for ball 1 on Crosby. 1 out. Runners on first and second, or first pitch on Collier, I should say. Well, the Blue Crabs got things started with a walk to Jared Walker here in the fourth inning. Crosby later singled in the inning, but there is one away. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch. A little bit up and away. Count 2 balls and no strikes now on Zach Collier, who had a terrific year last year. His numbers still coming along this season. Had a .324 batting average and a 1,043 OPS. This year, hitting .242 with a 795 OPS. It was 3 for 7 in the last road trip, 1 for 3 so far in this series, and you have to hope that things are just coming along a little more slowly this year. He had 2 home runs in game 3 against West Virginia. Count remains 2 balls and no strikes on the lefty Collier. Blue Crabs with first and second and 1 out. 2-0 up and away. Count 3 balls and no strikes. Now Guantz, who generally has had solid control up until this point, at risk of walking his second batter of the game. Only other walk was issued to Jared Walker, was on 4 pitches to start the inning. Guantz has thrown 50 pitches, 30 of them strikes. Just at 60%. Well, after the ball 3, it's actually just under 60%. 3-0 pitch called strike, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Ideally, you'd like to be 65 to 70%, but 60% is not a bad number. Walker leads off second base. He walked to start the inning. Crosby on first. He singled. 3-1 pitch to Collier. Swinging a tapper back to the mound. Deflects off the glove of the starting pitcher. That's Guance, and it's going to be a base hit for Zach Collier on an awkward deflection off of Hector Guance's glove. And the bases are loaded. All of a sudden, the Blue Crabs have a really good opportunity in the bottom of the fourth inning. It's Walker from third, it's Crosby from second, it's Collier from first. And Nelson Figueroa going to come out to have a meeting at the mound as the FerryHawks are going to discuss some defensive opportunities, or options really. Well, the Blue Crabs led off the inning with a walk to Walker. David Harris popped out to first base. A single from Crosby and a single to Collier. 3 of the first 4 base runners reach. And it's Braxton Lee, the only Blue Crabs batter with MLB experience, who comes to the plate. Again, our trivia question today is, who is the only player in Mets franchise history to start the year in Class A and finish the season in the MLB? That player is playing in this ball game. There are only 5 players in this game with Major League Baseball experience. So who is the only player in Mets history to start the year in Class A and end up in the MLB? First pitch is low and in on Braxton Lee, with the bases loaded and 1 out. Blue Crabs down by 1, looking to tie this one or take the lead here in the 4th. From third, Walker. From second, Crosby. And at first, it's Zach Collier. 1-0 pitch. Up and away. Count 2-0. Please, if you have any idea what the answer is, or at least have a guess, throw it in the YouTube chat. Again, only 5 players between these two teams have Major League Baseball experience, so if you guess one of them, you have a 1 in 5 chance. And if you know a little bit about some of the guys, you can eliminate a few as well. 2-0 pitch from Guance. Line drive foul behind home plate. Count 2 balls and 1 strike now on Braxton Lee. And control starting to be a little bit more of an issue for Hector Guance. He gets the sign from John Nestor, who's behind home plate. Here's the 2-0 pitch, or 2-1 pitch, I should say. Called strike, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. For the afternoon contest in Game 1. Bases are loaded and 1 out. Here's the pitch to Guance. Ground ball right back to the mound. He fires home for 1. The throw to first is in time. A 1-2-3 double play to end the bottom of the 4th inning. The Blue Crabs had 2 in scoring position with 1 out, and they're unable to come through as a result of a 1-2-3 double play. Well, that ends the 4th inning. The FerryHawks have a 2-1 lead. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the 2nd inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today.
Well, we bring you back in the top of the 5th inning. Getting to crunch time here in this ball game. First pitch from Eddie Butler is upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. The Blue Crabs trail the FerryHawks 2-1. It is Duplantis who leads things off in the order, who swings and fouls that ball off right field side. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue Crabs had the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th, but Braxton Lee grounded into a 1-2-3 double play. And the 1-1 pitch is low. Count 2 balls and a strike. Well, Duplantis 1 for 1 with a walk, and now the 2-1 pitch is low and in. Count 3-1 on Antoine Duplantis. He is 3 for 5 so far with Staten Island. Also worked a couple of walks. Pitch, swinging a ground ball, foul, first base side yet again. And the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Butler gone 63 pitches. He's thrown 39 strikes and 23 balls. Allowed 2 earned runs across the 4+ innings of work. Base path's empty with nobody out. 2-1 pitch, swinging a slow roller over toward first. Walker Fields' throw to first is in time as the covering Eddie Butler, it beats Antoine Duplantis to the bag, and there's 1 away. Very well done by the pitcher Eddie Butler to get there in time, and as Jared Walker properly executed the 3-1 putout. Javier Betancourt to the plate. He bats second. 0 for 1 today. He did have an RBI on a sacrifice fly back in the 3rd inning. That tied the game at 1. It was Angel Aguilar who gave the FerryHawks a 2-1 lead. And it's the top of the 5th, but as I mentioned earlier, it's more like the top of the 7th in a normal game. First pitch is low for ball 1. Count 1 ball and no strikes now on Staten Island. As Angel Aguilar stands on deck, gave the FerryHawks the 2-1 lead. This one is slammed down the left field line, foul. Over the Legends Club, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike now on Betancourt. The Legends Club over in left field, a great place to watch a ball game. It's an even better place to go get unlimited beer and wings on Thursday nights. 1-1 pitch. Chopper, third base side, foul. Blue Crabs trail 2-1. 1 run from Southern Maryland in the bottom of the 1st inning. An RBI double from Jared Walker gave the Blue Crabs the lead, but the FerryHawks responded with 2 in the top of the 3rd. 1-2 pitch. High pop-up first base side, floats into the seats, and the fans are going to have a chance to go out and grab that one. Last time we had a doubleheader, that was on Thursday night of last week. And the Blue Crabs finished that game at 2 a.m. The 1-2 pitch, line drive into center field. It's a base hit. Collier fields it on the forehand. He throws in quickly to second to prevent an extra base hit from Javier Betancourt. He singles. And there's a runner on first base with 1 out as Angel Aguilar comes to the plate. Aguilar went down looking his first time up. One on and 1 out in the top of the 5th. Eddie Butler ran into trouble in just 1 inning. That was all they needed so far to give them the lead, 2-1. Eddie Butler, first pitch, called strike, count 0-1. With 1 out, top of the 5th. In AAA, Eddie Butler was 7-3, went 79 in the 3rd innings, had a 6.01 ERA. Had his best year in Major League Baseball a few years prior. 0-1 pitch, line drive into left field. It's a base hit. And runners from first to second. Javier Betancourt on second, Angel Aguilar on first. And all of a sudden Staten Island has something going here in the top of the fifth. You'd really hope Eddie Butler can finish the fifth inning, because otherwise the designated hitter would not be able to remain in the game, as the starting pitcher has to go 5 innings of work. Well, here comes Dilson Herrera, who's 0 for 2 today. He struggled this year, but could always break out. This one, a high chopper off his foot, foul. Over to the third base side. Well, Javier Betancourt from second. It's Angel Aguilar from first in the top of the fifth. The FerryHawks still lead this one by 1 on a pleasant Wednesday afternoon. Pitch called strike, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes now. Eddie Butler pitched in the American Association back in 2019, in AAA in 2021, here in the Blue Crabs in the Atlantic League in 2022. Called strike 3 on the 0-2 pitch. Dilson Herrera can't believe it. Has some words for the home plate umpire, Jerry Burrish. And there are now 2 away. Here is Stephen Alames. Stephen Alames is 0 for 2 today. As Eddie Butler looking to stay in this ball game through at least 5 innings. He's gone 4 2/3, allowed 6 hits and 2 runs. First pitch called strike, fastball on the inner half, and the count 0-1. He has also walked 2 batters, so 8 base runners for Staten Island across the first 4 2/3 innings. 0-1 offering. High pop up, right field line. It's Jared Walker who drifts over toward the Staten Island bullpen and makes the catch for the final out. Well, the FerryHawks picked up a hit and a walk, but they strand 2 at the end of 4.5 innings of play. It's the FerryHawks 2 and the Blue Crabs 1. Southern Maryland looking for the bats to come alive in the bottom of the 5th.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom Bottom of the 5th inning, the Blue Crabs still trail by 1. The score has remained 2-1 since the top of the 3rd inning. The Blue Crabs sent 8, 9, and 1 to the plate against Hector Guantz. It's Joe DeLuca. First pitch is away for ball 1. Joe DeLuca was the MVP of the Panama League in the winter. Played in the Caribbean World Series. Was in the Dominican Republic. 1-0 pitch. Cut on and fouled back behind home plate. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Some of those leagues down in Latin America work a little bit differently, where sometimes the players of the teams that are eliminated from the playoffs, the teams that remain in, are allowed to pick from. So you ultimately just have 2 all-star teams, which can be kind of fun for the fans, but for the players who were sort of those everyday guys who played a role, they might not be on the team anymore. So one swing, a ground ball over towards second, fielded on the backhand by Alameus, and the throw to first is in time, and there's 1 away. DeLuca 0 for 2 now on the day, as Michael Baca comes to the plate. Baca 0 for 1 today. Grounded out toward third base. Angel Aguilar. 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 5th inning. First pitch, check swing, motion over to first. And the first base umpire in today's ball game, Jim Clayton, says that he held up. One-0 pitch to Baca. That's a called strike at the knees. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. With 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Blue Crabs score their only run of the game way back in the bottom of the 1st. 1-1 pitch. Line drive, right field side, foul as it soars into the seats. Well, the Blue Crabs looking to win their 14th series of the year. But they've got, not only do they have the FerryHawks in their way here for game 1, but the Blue Crabs are going to need to win 3 out of 4 to do that instead of split, as the 1-1 pitch is up and in, or the 1-2 pitch, I should say, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blue Crabs won game 1 of this series, 8-3. But trail here in game 2, 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning, and what's just a 7-inning ball game. 2-1 pitch, ground ball over towards short, fielded by Reyes in the forehand, steps up, throws wildly over to first, but it's caught by Herrera, who tags out Baca. That ball was to the home plate side of first base, well offline, but nicely done by Herrera to make the catch and tag out Baca for the 2nd out. 2 up and 2 down for Hector Guantz, who's had a terrific performance through 4 2/3 innings. Brings up Jack Sundberg. Sundberg to lead things off for the Blue Crabs. First pitch, that's away for ball 1. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Hector Guantz has thrown his 67th pitch of his outing. Meanwhile, Butler's gone 76 pitches, but both of which easily enough to return for the 6th. 1-0 pitch, called strike. That one right down Darrell Thompson drive, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. We're glad you've decided to join us. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, count 1 and 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. Guantz, the 1-2 pitch. That's low and in. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Guantz is topped out at 97 miles an hour on a fastball. Now, the furthest hit ball today was 315 feet from Jack Sundberg, but it's Staten Island with all the 5 highest exit velocities. They've hit the ball pretty hard today. Here's the pitch, swinging a ground ball over towards second. Comes up on Alames, and the throw to first is in time for the final out. Another 1, 2, 3 innings from the FerryHawks starter Hector Guance. We're finished with 5. It's the FerryHawks who still lead this one 2-1. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Dalton Geeky, and you're listening to Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Top of the 6th inning, the FerryHawks first batter in the inning as they send Mario Bautista to the plate, and he fouls it back in the count. No balls and 1 strike on Bautista. Blue Crabs do have some action in the bullpen. Bradley Roney getting a few pitches in. Here is the 0-1 pitch. It's a little bit upstairs. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch count isn't high for Butler, but the Blue Crabs want to stay in this game. Should he run into trouble? 1-1 pitch. Big wave and a miss. Count 1 and 2. Mario Bautista. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 6th inning. As Bautista gets things started, a 2-1 lead for the FerryHawks. 1-2 pitch, strike 3, fastball upstairs. And it's another strikeout earned by the Blue Crabs starter, Eddie Butler. It's his 4th strikeout of the day. He's thrown 80 pitches through 5 1/3. He's really earned the opportunity to keep going. 7 innings, allowed 2 runs last time out. He's gone 5 1/3, allowed 2 runs tonight. First pitch called strike, and the count 0-1 now on Nestor. Eddie Butler went all 7 innings against the Lexington Legends in Game 2 of that doubleheader under very different circumstances. The 0-1 pitch is upstairs. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. That ball game started officially at 11:43 p.m. and ended officially at exactly 2 a.m. 1-1 pitch, line drive, left center field. It's going to be extra bases. Jack Sundberg tracks it down. He fires into the cutoff man, Michael Baca. But it's a 1-out double for John Nestor, his first hit of this series. And he finds himself in scoring position with 1 out. You'd have to imagine the leash is not all that long for Eddie Butler, especially with a man warming in the bullpen. May actually be Alex Merrithew warming up, who's getting the start in Game 2. Eddie Butler set. Here's the first pitch. Line drive foul, first base side from Alfredo Reyes. 2-1, FerryHawks. They've got a runner on second, though, with one out. Early strikeout from Eddie Butler. Butler set. Stares down the catcher, Joe DeLuca. 0-1 pitch. Line drive foul, first base side, and the count 0-2. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see Butler try to get Alfredo Reyes to chase something, especially ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. A couple pitches he can work with. Runner on second. Here's the pitch. 0-2. A little bit low. It's a good pitch from Butler as he buried it in the count 1-2. We're going to get back to our trivia question after this batter, Alfredo Reyes. If you didn't have a chance to answer, we're going to talk about it once more. This one swinging a one-hopper. Terrific play on the backhand by Baca. The throw across the diamonds in time. Oh, a terrific play on the backhand by Baca. His momentum taking him toward third base. He stopped, turned, and fired to first in time to get the out at first on Alfredo Reyes. Well, that's what an outstanding defensive shortstop can do. Make plays like that and steal base hits. Baca's only hitting about 240 on the season. But when you can make plays like that, it's a game changer. If you add those terrific defensive plays into his average, he's not hitting 240, he's probably hitting 300. Eddie Butler with the offering to Joe DeLuca, with the offering to his catcher Joe DeLuca, to the batter Joseph Monhe, and the pitch is swung on and missed, count 0-1. Southern Maryland comes into this one 35-12 against the 14-32 Staten Island FerryHawks, who are officially eliminated from the first half divisional chase. The Blue Crabs are inching closer to taking that division as they still have some games to play, but are in a terrific position. 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed, count 0-2. The Long Island Ducks are 11.5 games back, but the Ducks are playing well as of late. Runner on second base, 2 outs. Count no balls and 2 strikes on Joseph Monhe. 0-2 pitch upstairs, count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The playoffs in the Atlantic League are determined by 2 separate halves. In the first half, it's the divisional winner from each division. In the second half, it's the divisional winners. But if the divisional winner is the same team, they go to a wild card, the best other record in the league. 1-2 pitch, tapper down toward third base, fielded by Crosby. Strong throw to first is in time to get the speedy Joseph Monhe to end the inning. Well, we're finished with the top of the 6th inning. We're through 5.5 innings of play. It's the FerryHawks who lead the Blue Crabs 2-1. Don't go anywhere. Southern Maryland looks to have the bats come alive at the Reg in Waldorf. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
American Radiology is the clear choice for all of your medical imaging needs. With locations in Charles and Calvert counties, they offer a full range of imaging services. Some of their latest innovations included 3D mammography and wide-open MRIs for our claustrophobic patients. For your convenience, they even offer extended weekday hours and Saturdays. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at AmericanRadiology.com. When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Tony McClure of Century 21 New Millennium and his Grand Slam team, the realtor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since our first season in 2008. Tony and his team of preferred partners includes Tim Murphy of CNF Mortgage and Steve Scott of the Scott Law Group. Together, they will ensure that your real estate needs are nothing short of a grand slam. The quality service you will receive is Hall of Fame worthy. Put Tony's 41-plus years of experience to work for you. Call or text Tony today at 301-928-1280 for your personal Grand Slam experience. Go Blue Crabs.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we bring you back in the bottom of the sixth inning. New pitcher on the mound for the Staten Island FerryHawks. They go to Chris Nunn, who has played as high as AAA. This was last season with the St. Paul Saints, the affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. Also spent some time in AA. This is not his first year in independent ball, and he's got a very interesting story about his time in independent ball. We'll get there in just a moment. First pitch to Raul Shah, runs inside. Count 1 ball and no strikes. He has a 2.20 ERA. His runs allowed per 9, though, at 4.41. Out 8 runs, 4 earned. 1-0 pitch, big wave and a miss. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. So Chris Nunn played with the St. Paul Saints, a team in the American Association of Independent Ball in 2018 and 2020. Swan swinging a ground ball over towards second base. It's fielded by the second baseman, Stefan Alamais, and he tosses to first in time for the out, and there is 1 away. As Shaw goes down on a ground out, brings up brings up Jared Walker. Nobody on and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-1 still. It's Staten Island lead. So he played with the St. Paul Saints as part of the American Association in 2020, or before the 2021 season. There was a major realignment. A number of teams in the independent ball moved to affiliated baseball, including Sugar Land, Somerset, and the St. Paul Saints. Pitch, big wave and a miss from the 3-hitter, Jared Walker. Count 0-1. Now, the very interesting thing about Chris Nunn is that he played with the Saints in independent ball in 2020. He then joined the Saints as part of their AAA team in 2021. 0-1 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. Count 0-2. He played for them for the 2 years prior in independent ball, and then was able to play for them when at the AAA level, where he had a 3.66 ERA. 0-2, that's low and away. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Be Alex Crosby followed by David Harris, and if necessary, or Jared Walker followed by David Harris, and if necessary, Alex Crosby. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th, 2-1, FerryHawks. Here's the pitch. Big wave and a miss, breaking ball. Low and away from Walker, he swung through it, and there are 2 outs. The pitching staff for Staten Island this evening has been outstanding. 5 terrific innings from the starting pitcher for Staten Island, Hector Guantz, who was a real wild card coming into this. No one knew what to expect, but he pitched very well. David Harris digs in from the right side. First pitch, big swing and a miss. Count 0-1. No balls, one strike. Bottom of the 6th inning, there is some action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. There's actually, I was going to say there's some double barrel action. There's not, just one reliever warming up. 0-1 pitch is low and away. Count 1 ball and 1 strike now on David Harris. It looks as though Eddie Butler will be returning to the mound for the 7th inning. So far, 6 innings, 2 hits, or 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks. 1-1 pitch, big wave and a miss. Count 1-2 now on Harris. That pitch was low and out of the zone. None the lefty against the right-handed pitcher, David Harris. Here's the 1-2 pitch, fouled back, and the count remains 1-2. Nunn has pitched on 2 AAA teams. Pitched with Fresno, the AAA affiliate of the Houston Astros, in 2018. And then pitched with the St. Paul Saints, the AAA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, in 2021. Well, the 1-2 pitch, wave and a miss. It was low and away, and Harris swung through it. That ends the bottom of the 6th inning. The Blue Crabs will have just one more chance in the bottom of the 7th, but first it's on to the top of the 7th inning, where the Blue Crabs will go back to Eddie Butler. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Andres Riceno, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the Switch. I like the scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
It is the top of the 7th inning. The scoreline remains the same. It's 2-1 FerryHawks. New pitcher in the game. It's Patrick Baker for the Blue Crabs. First pitch from Baker is up and away on Antoine Duplantis, the leadoff hitter for the Staten Island FerryHawks. Well, Baker's had a strong start to the season. He has a 0.95 ERA. Pitch a little bit up and away. It was close. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. Or 2 balls and no strikes, I should say. Last time out, he went 1 inning, allowed 2 runs. He did not allow a hit. He hit 2 batters and walked 1, though. Has a lot of gas on that fastball. 2-0 pitch is inside, count 3-0. Throughout his career, control's been a bit of an issue. He's walked 13 batters across 19 innings this year. Allowed just 10 hits. 3-0 offering from Baker. Called strike right down the middle, on the count 3 balls and 1 strike. So far, Patrick Baker is maxed out at just over 95 miles an hour on the fastball. Can throw 100. The 3-1 pitch is foul back, count 3-2. He finds more control at 95 to 97, though. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gone with 5 fastballs to get things going. They've been 94, 95. Hector Guantz has the fastest pitch in this ball game. 3-2 pitch, a little bit inside. It's a walk to get things started as Antoine Duplantis is on first here in the top of the 7th inning. Here comes Javier Betancourt. Top of the 7th, nobody out. 2-1, FerryHawks. Blue Crabs 35-12 up to this point in the season. Betancourt followed by Aguilar as Patrick Baker tosses over to first to check on the runner. Patrick Baker has struck out 21 batters across 19 innings. He does have pretty solid strikeout stuff. Here's the pitch, up and away. Nicely snagged by DeLuca as the 1-0 pitch misses way outside. Well, that was the first pitch actually to Javier Betancourt. So the count 1 ball and no strikes now. Tossing back to first. It's a high throw. Nearly got away from Walker, but he leaped to grab it. Count remains 1 ball and no strikes on Javier Betancourt, who is 1 for 2 today with a sacrifice fly and an RBI. This is Patrick Baker's inning. So he's going to have to find a way to get out of this one. Pitch is low and away. And DeLuca jumped to his feet to see if the runner was going. Michael Baca puts his hands up in the air, not quite sure what's going on. I'm still not quite sure he has any idea what's going on. I think he thought that the runner may have been going on the pitch, but Duplantis wasn't going anywhere, at least not for the time being. Count 2-0 on Betancourt. Here's the pitch. Called strike, and the count 2-1. Top of the 7th inning. A 2-1 lead for the FerryHawks. They scored 2 runs back in the top of the 3rd inning. It was a sacrifice fly from Javier Betancourt and an RBI single from Angel Aguilar. 2-1 pitch from Baker. High fastball, swing and a miss. Throw down to seconds in time. They got it. No, he's safe. The throw beat him, but the tag couldn't quite get applied in time. The third base umpire, Mike Mackey, pointed to the base as if to say he's out, but then signaled safe. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes as Javier Betancourt chased the high fastball. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Betancourt, but a runner in scoring position with nobody out. It's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Here's the pitch from Baker. Fouled back to the screen, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Patrick Baker has thrown 96.2 miles an hour today. We talked about his high velocity, his ability to pitch and hold high velocity throughout an outing. It's the 2nd hardest pitch thrown today. 2-1 pitch now from Baker. Check swing, but he held up, and now the count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Back-to-back batters now for Baker. that the count has run full. Runner on second base is Antoine Duplantis with nobody out. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Javier Betancourt. Baker gets a sign from DeLuca. Here's the 3-2. High fly ball, shallow right field, long run for Braxton Lee, who's there and makes the catch. Antoine Duplantis not about to test the arm of Braxton Lee in shallow right, and he stays put at second base as Javier Betancourt flies out to right. Well, runner on and 2 out. 2-1, FerryHawks. Let's go back through how this game got here. It was in the top of the first inning. Jack Sundberg walked to get things started. He later reached third base, and Jared Walker roped a double down the first base side to score a run and give the give the Blue Crabs a 1-0 lead. Then in the third, after a single from Antoine Duplantis, later was brought in on a sacrifice fly and an RBI single from Angel Aguilar. That gave the FerryHawks a 2-1 lead. Joseph Monhay, the other runner that came around and scored in the third inning. 1 on, 1 out. Runner on second, a 2-1 ball game. First pitch to Angel Aguilar, upcoming. That's away. And the count 1 ball and no strikes, way over in the lefty batter's box against the right-handed hitter, Angel Aguilar. Aguilar is 2 for 3 in today's game. He struck out looking back in the first. He singled in the third and singled in the fifth. Baker gets a sign from DeLuca. The pitch, line drive foul, first base side. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The shadows have crept past the mound, although Baker does reach outside the shadow into the light before his arm crosses back into the shadow during the pitch. So it's still going to cause batters maybe a slightly tougher time picking up the baseball. 1-1 pitch. Ooh, looked good. Maybe a little bit up and in, and the count 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner on second base in the top of the 7th inning. Game 1 of a doubleheader between the Blue Crabs and the FerryHawks. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, 35-12 coming in. They're going to have Alex Merrithew start game 2. 2-1 pitch. High pop-up behind home plate. It's possibly playable for Joe DeLuca, who's got a long way to go. Only maybe 10 feet in front of the backstop on the third base side where he makes the catch. And there are 2 away. Well, after a walk issued to Antoine Duplantis, it's a fly out to right on a routine pop-up from Betancourt and a pop-out from Angel Aguilar behind home plate to the catcher, Joe DeLuca. Oh, there's a runner on second with 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning. FerryHawks still have that 1-run lead as Dilson Herrera comes to the plate, and I think it's about time we answer our trivia question. Our trivia question today was, who is the only Mets player to start the year in Class A and reach the MLB? First pitch up and in from Patrick Baker. The hint is he is one of 5 former big leaguers playing in this ball game. And Meshuggah World says, Dilson Herrera. Multi-Apples said it's a good question. I cannot claim that I came up with it myself. It was Paul Houck, the father of Brian Houck, who sent in the question. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. If you'd like to send in questions, please feel free. Just write us here at the Blue Crabs, and we'd be more than happy to add your question onto the broadcast. But well done, Meshuggah World. Dilson Herrera is the correct answer. We'll have another question in game 2 of our doubleheader. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Count 1 and 2. Hard fastball up and out of the zone. And Herrera swung through it. Herrera looking to break through as he's hitting 080 so far. Has an opportunity to give the FerryHawks an insurance run. Runner on second with 2 outs. The 21st pitch of the appearance from Patrick Baker. High fastball, check swing. A motion down to first base, not close. He definitely did not offer on that one. And they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on second. It's a 2-1 lead for the FerryHawks. It's the top of the 7th, but it really is the top of the 9th for all intents and purposes. In game 1 of a doubleheader, as this is a 7-inning ball game. 2-2 pitch from Baker. Foul back to the netting, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's having some trouble keeping up with that 95 to 96 mile an hour heat. That last pitch came in at 96.6 miles an hour, the fastest pitch thrown by Patrick Baker in this appearance. Here is the 2-2 pitch. Pop up, first base side. This one flies out of play into the seats. And the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes it remains. Well, Patrick Baker has not surrendered a run yet, but he's thrown 23 pitches across just 2/3 of an inning. Well, Antoine Duplantis got things started for Staten Island. He walked, he stole second base. Meanwhile, Betancourt popped out. And they strike 3, a curveball on the 2-2 pitch. And he gets Dilson Herrera to end the top of the 7th inning. We are finished with 6.5 innings of play. The Blue Crabs, the last chance coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. This one flies out of play into the seats. But he's thrown 23 pitches across just 2/3 of an inning.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Oh, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Alex Crosby who comes to the plate. The first pitch is a called strike on the lefty. It's the bottom of the 7th, but it's really the bottom of the 9th. This is the last inning in a 7-inning doubleheader. The Blue Crabs trail 2-1 as this pitch gets a little bit away from the catcher, John Nestor, as it was low and away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike now on the lefty Crosby. Staten Island 2, the Blue Crabs 1. On the pitcher, Chris Nunn, as the 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball that soared away from Crosby, but he swung and missed, and the count 2-1, or 1-2, I should say. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Here is the 1-2. That's away. Close pitch, though, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Nunn threw just 12 pitches in the first inning. Record a 1-2-3 inning. This one swinging a spinning tapper down the third base side. And it flares into foul territory. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the lefty Alex Crosby. Chris Nunn is set. Here is the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a high pop-up, third base side. That's easily going to get into the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. 5, 6, and 7 due up. Crosby followed by Collier and Lee. 2-1. Line drive, straight away center field. It sends Duplantis back in front of the warning track where he makes the catch overhead for the first out. 1 away now in the bottom of the 7th. It's Staten Island who leads this one 2-1. The score has remained the same since the top of the 3rd inning. As the Blue Crabs, who scored 1 in the bottom of the 1st, took a lead on an RBI double from Jared Walker. Then in the top of the 3rd, a sacrifice fly that brought in Joseph Monhay and an RBI single that drove in Antoine Duplantis. It was Angel Aguilar with the RBI single. First pitch, breaking ball on the outside corner to the lefty Collier. A lefty-lefty matchup here with Nunn and Collier. Zach Collier is 1 for 1 on the day. Well, the pitch, that one's up and in. The count 1 ball and 1 strike now. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody on in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-1 offering upstairs, count 2 balls and a strike. You have to wonder, if you get a base runner on first, at what point do you consider stealing second base, putting a runner in scoring position? As the Blue Crabs trail 2-1, you're just trying to manufacture a run any way you can at this point. Here is the 2-1 pitch. That's low, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. And if you're Zach Collier at this point, of course you'd love a base hit, but you'll take a walk, you'll take a base runner anywhere they'll come. In a game when you're down by 1, you're ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. That's low. It's ball 4. Chris Nunn walks Zach Collier, runner on first base in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's the first base runner the Blue Crabs have had since the 4th inning, when they had the bases loaded and 1 out, and Braxton Lee, who comes to the plate right now, grounded into a 1-2-3 double play. Andres Briseño walks out in the Blue Crabs bullpen in case the Blue Crabs go to extra innings. In this case, extra innings just means beyond 7. There, of course, would be the inherited runner at second base as well. Braxton Lee stands straight up, no bend in the knee until he takes that initial step. First pitch called strike. And the count 0-1 on the outside corner. And his feet very close together until he takes that step forward. Runner on first, 1 out. Count 0-1 on Lee. Pitch. Ooh, that was a little outside, but called the strike by the home plate umpire, Jerry Burrish. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. On deck, it's Joe DeLuca, who bats 8th for the Blue Crabs. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Braxton Lee goes down on strikes. It was Chris Nunn who buried a breaking ball. And there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, one of those pitches was outside. The TrackMan data that we have confirms that it missed by a couple of inches. As Joe DeLuca comes to the plate. Runner on first base with 2 outs. Would not be at all surprised to see Collier take off for second base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. You never want to run yourself into the final out, but First pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. Count 0-1. Collier 0 for 1 on stolen bases this year, but he's 8 for 11 last season. Tying run on base, the winning run at the plate. 2 outs. 0-1 pitch, foul back. Count 0-2 now on Joe DeLuca. Blue Crabs are down to their final strike in the bottom of the 7th inning. Andres Briseño still warming up in the bullpen, but the Blue Crabs are down to their final strike with a runner on first base and 2 outs. Here is the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, deep left field, back to the warning track, it's gone! A walk-off 2-run home run from Joe DeLuca on the Blue Crabs. We're down to their final strike, and he hit it over the mini monster in left field. A 3-2 walk-off home run from Joe DeLuca as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs win Game 1 of the doubleheader 3-2. The 0-2 pitch left out over the plate from Chris Nunn, and Joe DeLuca drilled it over the mini monster into that front row, just barely over the railing, and the Blue Crabs win this one 3-2. It scores Zach Collier from first, and Southern Maryland comes away with a 3-2 win in the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs win this one on a walk-off 2-run shot by a score of 3-2. Well, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs were stuck on 1 run for a very long time. They scored 1 in the bottom of the first. The FerryHawks scored 2 in the top of the 3rd. And it looked like small ball would end up being the answer to this one, as Southern Maryland just looked like they probably weren't going to have the firepower to get it done tonight, but a walk issued to Zach Collier and a 2-run shot and a line drive over the mini monster in left field has given the Blue Crabs a 3-2 victory. We're going to run through a couple of numbers and then sign off quickly as we have Game 2 to get to this evening. It's Alex Marathieu who will get the ball for the Blue Crabs. And for the FerryHawks, it's Eddie Reynoso, a pair of relief pitchers who will get the start. I talked to Alex Marathieu before today's game. He says he intends on going long if everything holds up. Well, let's run through a couple of the big performers today for the Blue Crabs. It was Jack Sundberg who went 1 for 3. He scored a run. Jared Walker was 1 for 2 with an RBI. He drove in Sundberg back in the first inning. Alex Crosby was 1 for 3. Zach Collier 1 for 2. But Joe DeLuca comes up with the big game. He goes 1 for 3 and lines a home run over the mini monster to give the Blue Crabs a 3-2 win. Meanwhile, on the pitching for the Blue Crabs, it was Eddie Butler who went 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, just 2 earned runs. He'll pick up a no decision. He walked 2 and struck out 4. It's Patrick Baker who gets the win tonight. Went 1 inning. He walked 1. He struck out 1. And the Blue Crabs picked up the slack in the bottom of the 7th inning to win this one by a score of 2-1. Well, that'll do it from us here at Regency Furniture Stadium. We wish everybody a pleasant evening, and we ask you to join us for Game 2 about 30 minutes from now as the Blue Crabs win this one 3-2. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you back here at the Reg for Game 2.